What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the Goose Games. It is your boy, the Goose, and the Goose has landed, baby. Ha! And we are here with mock draft number 1. Now that the Super Bowl has ended, it's time to get into the offseason, and it's time for my first mock draft, my post-Super Bowl mock draft. I'm assuming I'm going to do like 3 to 4 of these throughout the offseason. My idea now would be post Super Bowl for sure. Maybe on like the eve of free agency, a post free agency one for sure, and then one final mock, maybe night before the draft, where it's like I'm trying to predict the actual picks. Because each mock is going to be a little different. Today is strictly my knowledge of the players. I'm not going off of what I think teams will do. So I'm going off my perceived needs for these teams and my perception of the prospects to this point. I haven't done a ton of prospect work yet. I have a good knowledge of this draft class because I've been playing with it on Madden for years. And I do watch other mock drafts, so I'm compiling information that way throughout. I guess I started watching mocks about a month ago when mock draft season started. So I don't watch game tape. I mean, I don't get paid to scout, so I'm not scouring through game tape to make my scouting opinions. I kind of gather them off of the resources I trust. My favorite Madden YouTuber is Bengal Designs. Go follow him, Bengal. He's great. He does a lot of work scouting, and I kind of base a lot of my assessments off of him, Daniel Jeremiah, Bucky Brooks. C4, I think, does some scouting videos, or at least mock drafts. So that's just so you guys know how I get to my my opinion on these prospects. That's how I get those opinions formed. And I'm pulling up. I'm going to be looking to my right for this video because on this monitor I have the Draft Network up, which is a mock draft generator. The next time I do a mock, I want to have it where you'll probably see my screen and you'll see the mock draft generator. But for this one, I want to get this up fast and I just want to get this done. So only I'll be seeing that. You guys will just have to be okay with just hearing my voice for this one. I hope that's not too boring for you, but at least your boy is handsome. So with the first overall pick, not going to be controversial, not going to be contrarian, Trevor Lawrence. Bottom line, I think he's the best quarterback prospect I've ever seen. I started watching football around like 2006, so that's my scope of knowledge. The only quarterback I could say is maybe better than Trevor Lawrence as a prospect is Andrew Luck. Trevor Lawrence has ascended into a group of prospects that include 2, now 3. John Elway, Andrew Luck, Trevor Lawrence. He's a better prospect than Peyton Manning was. He's a better prospect than who are other number 1 picks? Jameis, Kyler Murray, whoever you want to compare him to as a prospect, I'd almost guarantee he's better. I think when you look at this draft, he's a slam dunk. Jacksonville brought in a veteran head coach ready to win right now. Jacksonville is not going to mess this up. Trevor Lawrence is going number 1. And I'm not doing any trades this mock. I want to kind of keep my ear to the ground a little longer about who is trying to move up or down before I predict that kind of thing. But the teams I would be looking to move up, if I were them, Carolina should be looking to move up for a quarterback. I would say Denver could move up for a quarterback. I would say Detroit, if they only see Goff as a bridge QB, moving up in this draft makes a lot of sense. The Niners moving up for a QB, the Pats. But we're getting into the number 2 pick here. And like I said, this is what I would do. Rumor has it Darnold is going to go. So I think they're drafting quarterback here. So that's what I'm going to do. Because I think they should as well. Something that not a lot of people are talking about when it comes to the Darnold stuff is he's in line for a contract extension after this season, I believe. They might only have 2 more years of team control left on him. Most teams that win Super Bowls do it when their quarterbacks are on rookie deals. Carson Wentz and the Eagles, Russell Wilson, Pat Mahomes. It's easier to build your roster when your quarterback spot is on a rookie deal because it's at a set low salary cap number. So I think that has a ton of value as well. Right now, I know a lot of people have Zach Wilson going. I've heard Zach Wilson with some lofty comparisons, including Mr. Patrick Mahomes. I have to watch his film first, but I am going to say Justin Fields to the Jets. I've seen more of Justin Fields. That's why I'm kind of going with him right now. Excuse me, guys. Just some of the throws he can make. There was this one 55, 60-yard ball he put through the air that was just beautiful. In the last game he played. He's athletic. He's good size. I think he's a little safer than Zach Wilson for me right now because I haven't done as much homework on Zach Wilson. Fields has played against a higher level of competition, but he's also had better teammates. But for right now, I'll say Fields number 2 is the safer choice. Number 3, what should be the Houston Texans, but because Bill O'Brien is an idiot, it is the Miami Dolphins. I don't really understand why nobody's talking about offensive line at this pick. Everybody and their mother is saying this is a receiver. And I get that. But Penei Sewell is on the board. Penei Sewell is on the board, and I think you need to prioritize protecting Tua. If I had to guess, there's a lot of veteran tackles available this offseason. If I had to guess, they're going to throw their money there. But until that happens, they need help protecting Tua. And I am going to go with the guy who I think could be the number 1 pick in most years, Penei Sewell. They get a franchise left tackle. He's uber athletic. His footwork needs a little, and his technique needs a little work, but his pure athleticism, I think he only gave up like 2 pressures in his season. Or no, did he sit out this year? So it might have been 2 seasons ago, but Penei Sewell is a monster, and the name of the game needs to be protecting Tua. So now we've got Atlanta. They just said they're not moving Matt Ryan or Julio Jones, but here's what I'm stuck between. Do you help Matt Ryan, who is still probably a bottom of the top 10 list, but he might still be a top 10 quarterback? Do you help him or do you replace him? Either way, he's starting this year and maybe next year. I don't think you're going to be up here again if you're Atlanta. I'm going Zach Wilson. Atlanta is not a team that finds themselves that high in the draft very often. And I think Zach Wilson is a pick that ensures that remains the case after the Matt Ryan era. So now the Cincinnati Bengals are up, and it's interesting because they really wanted Penei Sewell to protect Burrow. But I think it's a slam dunk. Go Rashawn Slater. Rashaan Slater is either a franchise left tackle, right tackle. He has guard flexibility. I think he might be a better day 1 player than Penei Sewell. So I think the name of the game has to be protecting Joe Burrow after he got his ass beat as a rookie. I'd love to give them a player like Jamar Chase or Kyle Pitts, but first I need to see them spend some money on that offensive line. I think that's what they should do. They need to spend money on the O-line in the same way Miami does, so you don't have to pick O-line early in the draft. Miami and the Bengals should both have their tackles figured out coming into the draft. And if they do, I think Dolphins go receiver and Bengals can either go receiver or Kyle Pitts. Number 6, the Philadelphia Eagles fall into a wonderful spot here, getting the pick of whatever wide receiver they want. I don't think Carson Wentz is going to be there. So if one of the top 3 QBs was still there, I think you'd have to consider it. Trey Lance is right in this range as well if you're high on him, but that's another North Dakota State guy. I think they're probably going to get a bridge quarterback to back up Jalen Hurts for this year. So I am going to give them my favorite wide receiver in this class, Jaylen Waddle. I think if Waddle wasn't banged up, he was outproducing DeVonta Smith. DeVonta or Devontae? I'll say DeVonta. He was outproducing Smith until he started getting banged up. I think Jaylen Waddle reminds me a lot of an Odell, where he has insane separating ability, insane burst. He's the kind of guy who takes a 6-yard slant and just shoots it up the field. He reminds me a lot of Odell, maybe even a Tyreek Hill. I think this gives the Eagles somebody who can rip the top off of the defense. So the Eagles, much to my chagrin, get my favorite wide receiver in this draft. The Detroit Lions now. 10 minutes in. Okay, the Detroit Lions just made the blockbuster of the offseason so far, trading Matthew Stafford to the Rams. And they got Jared Goff back. Goff is interesting. I think we'll find out more about him this year than we have in any other year of his career, because he'll no longer have Sean McVay. A lot of people think Sean McVay kind of held his hand, took it easy with him, made his job very easy. So I think they should be thinking quarterback, but I don't think they will. Kenny Galladay's a free agent. Marvin Jones is a free agent. The Lions are going to need wide receiver help, so I am going to give them my number 2 receiver, most people's number 1, Ja'Marr Chase. He's a 6-foot guy, 6'1", something in there. He didn't play this year, but 2 years ago he was lights out. He was part of that insane supporting cast Joe Burrow had. Like with guys like Justin Jefferson going in round 1, Ja'Marr Chase was better than him. So I think the Lions go that way. Panthers have been super aggressive in the quarterback market. They tried to get Stafford, so I am going to give them Trey Lance. Teddy Bridgewater is a bridge quarterback, no pun intended. And Trey Lance has insane upside. He has a low floor, but a really high ceiling, which is scary, but you don't have to start him right away with Teddy being there. And I think Teddy's the kind of quarterback who would be an incredible mentor. I really do. So I think that's perfect. Now you have the Denver Broncos picking at number 9. Top 4 quarterbacks are gone. I don't think of Mac Jones in this spot. It says they need edge, but I know they have Vaughn coming back and Chubb should be healthy. I think of the Broncos primarily needing corner, and my number 1 corner is still on the board, so I'm going Patrick Surtain II. He reminds me of Jeffrey Okudah, where he doesn't have elite athleticism, but he's got good technique. So yeah, I think he's the number 1 corner, and I think the Broncos get a good pick there. Now, Dallas is going to be insanely tempted by the 2 top players on the board, DeVonta Smith and Kyle Pitts. But I think the CeeDee Lamb pick was a luxury they really couldn't afford with their defense, and I don't think they can go a luxury pick back-to-back years. I am going to say Caleb Farley goes to the Dallas Cowboys. He didn't play this year, but 2 years ago, a lot of people thought he was a number 1 corner. He has a ton of great traits. I think the only thing that could hurt him is that he didn't play this year. But based on what he did 2 years ago, I think number 10 for the Cowboys, they're getting a good player. Now, my New York Giants are up at number 11, and the top 5 players on the board are all in consideration. So I have DeVonta Smith, Kyle Pitts, Sam Cosmi, Kwity Paye, and Micah Parsons. There are some rumors that Micah Parsons may have some off-the-field stuff coming out about his character that could drop him down the board. So I am going to assume that's the case in this video, and I think the Giants are going to pass on him. That leaves Kwity Paye, the edge rusher, Sam Cosmi, the tackle. I think the Giants are a team that are going to get a veteran tackle. So I don't think they're going to have to go tackle here. It comes down to, what do you want more, DeVonta Smith or Kyle Pitts? For me, I think the Giants need more size at receiver. And DeVonta Smith, I don't love how small that guy is. The NFL is a big league to be that small a frame. And for that exact reason, I am going Kyle Pitts to the New York Giants. Kyle Pitts might be the best pass catcher in this draft. He's absolutely insane. He's everything Giants fans were told Evan Ingram is, except he's actually that. Um, he's a monster. He's insane athletically. He's like 6'5". You can line him up everywhere and anywhere on the field, and I would. When the Giants drafted Evan Ingram, there was like this promise of him being a gadget all over the field guy, and it never really happened. And it should have. He should have been on the outside. He should have been in the slot. The fact that he made the Pro Bowl this year is a sham and a joke, and he needs to be off this team ASAP. So I think you get your Evan Ingram replacement in Kyle Pitts. Now, the San Francisco 49ers are on the board, and they are chomping at the bit. They probably don't need this position, but he's still available. Kyle Shanahan is getting himself DeVonta Smith, an insane playmaker. You put him with Brandon Ayuk, with Deebo Samuel, with George Kittle, whoever is playing quarterback, I don't think it'll be Jimmy G. Whoever is playing quarterback there has a disgusting amount of weapons. So now number 13, name of the game, the Chargers. You got to protect Mr. Justin Herbert. And I think the best person to do that is going to be Christian Darrisaw from Virginia Tech. He's next on my tackle board. Versatility on the left or right side. And I feel like the Chargers have needed a tackle forever. So that's an easy pick for me. The Minnesota Vikings here at number 14 now. It says their top needs are interior offensive line, interior defensive line, safety. But I don't think safeties are players you take in the first round personally. Almost like the running back of the defense. They're so available late, especially in this class. The Vikings. They traded for Yannick Ngakoue and then moved him again, didn't they? Like to Baltimore? So could they be looking at edge rusher? I'm going to say they go Sam Cosmi. They've needed help on the O-line. They got to protect Kirk Cousins. I think Sam Cosmi is a good young piece at tackle. I don't know a ton about him yet, but he's a name I've heard a lot about. So I think you get a young piece on that offensive line. The New England Patriots are up at number 15, and I think a lot of guys they were looking at just went. The board is running a little dry for elite talent now. They absolutely need skill position players. But I think they could also be losing some people to free agency this year. This is an interesting position. It says their top needs are wide receiver and tight end, but I don't know that there's anybody on the board right now that maximizes your value at those spots. I mean, Rashad Bateman potentially. Let's see. You know what? It says interior defensive line is a need for them. I'm going to go with a high potential pick. This might be the highest bust potential guy in the first round, Gregory Rousseau. Gregory Rousseau is somebody who didn't play this year, but last year he was very good, but a lot of the sacks he got were from in the middle as a D tackle. And I don't think he has the size to do that in the pros. So he's a bit of a tweener, but I think New England can maximize him because they have a lot of talent on the front seven of that defense. Whether they were there this year or not, they're coming back from COVID opt-outs as well. They have a lot of guys coming back from that. So could be good for the Patriots to get another edge rusher to add to a veteran defense. Now we have the Arizona Cardinals picking 16th. And I am going to go J.C. Horn, my third cornerback. I think wide receiver could be an option there, but with the top three guys being off the board and Rashad Bateman being more of a mid to end of the first round wide receiver, I think they go with the cornerback position there. So now we have the Las Vegas Raiders at 17. And I'm going to go with my top guy on the board, Kwity Paye. Clelin Ferrell was a bit of a reach at number 4 a few years ago. He looked a little better this year, but not much. I think Kwity Paye is one of those insanely athletic edge defenders. I think he'll be most comfortable in the league as a 4-3 edge rusher, not 3-4. And I don't know what they run, actually, so maybe this isn't ideal, but I think he's an edge no matter what. whether he fits or not, he's an edge. But I think Kwity Paye's athleticism should make him pretty good. He kind of reminds me of Matthias Kiwanuka for the Giants. A great rotational guy that can play everywhere due to his insane athleticism. And now the Miami Dolphins pick 18. I had them go Penei Sewell earlier. I think they're going to immediately try to help Tua again. Or, you know what? This is interesting. Wide receiver and running back are their top two needs. I think Najee Harris. I think the Dolphins cash in on the Bama connection, hoping that they create some kind of chemistry together, and Najee Harris goes and joins Penei Sewell and Tua down in Miami. Number 19 is the Washington football team, coming off a great year where they unexpectedly made the playoffs. They just signed Tyler Heineke to a 2-year deal. Not a starter deal, but a deal. It says here their top needs are quarterback and tackle. Who are the top tackles left? Jalen Mayfield. This is a bit early for him. You know what? I'm going to say that Micah Parsons' slide ends here, and the Washington football team just goes best player available and goes Micah Parsons. Don't be surprised if that pick is being made by Houston, as I think Washington could be a sleeper to get Deshaun Watson. I think they'll have their quarterback before the draft. I'll put it that way. Let's see what time we're at. 21 minutes. All right, pick 20. The Chicago Bears. I think they're another team that's going to have their quarterback position answered before this. I think they're going to lose Allen Robinson. So I'm going to go Rashad Bateman, wide receiver. Indianapolis Colts on the board. The only quarterback they have on their current roster is Jacob Eason. I think they go Mac Jones. Mac Jones makes me nervous because he's an Alabama quarterback and they never work out. There's just too much talent at Bama to reasonably gauge what a quarterback really is when their receiving core is DeVonta Smith, Jaylen Waddle, Henry Ruggs last year. Well, no, he wouldn't have played with Ruggs because Tua was there. What am I talking about? But the talent, Najee Harris in that offense, Alex Leatherwood as a tackle. I think Mac Jones reminds me of I don't know, I guess he's not very athletic, but in terms of his arm, like a Daniel Jones, he's nowhere near as athletic as Daniel Jones, but I don't think he'll ever be a top 15 guy, but I think he could maybe be decent, like a Danny Dimes or Kirk Cousins. I don't know. The Tennessee Titans are now on the board, and they are going to take the best pass rusher available, and that is going to be Joseph Asai from Texas. New York Jets are up on the board again after taking Justin Fields second overall. I think they doubled down on the offensive side of the ball, and they get their running back of the future in Travis Etienne. So now you have Travis Etienne and Justin Fields, your young offensive leaders with Denzel Mims and whatever you do in free agency. And I think you're excited for the season if you're a Jets fan. Steelers are up. I think the Steelers could lose Juju. James Conner isn't exactly what we thought he might develop into. But they need to protect Big Ben if he's coming back. I think this is the Jalen Mayfield spot. Get a big athletic tackle from Michigan and see what that offensive line can do for Ben as he gets later in his career. The worst thing the Giants did for Eli was not protecting him late in his career, so he didn't age well because of that. Now Jacksonville is up with their second pick after getting Mr. Trevor Lawrence with the first overall pick. Let's see, who's that corner? I think they need corner to put somebody across from the rookie they had last year, CJ Henderson. What's the offensive line looking like? You know what? I am gonna go. What's best player available? Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah. I will go. Jaguars are interesting because they're another team with a lot of money, I believe. Where is Christian Barmore, the top interior defensive lineman? Their defensive line was awful this year, so I think add the best defensive tackle in the draft. This is honestly a steal. I think Barrymore could go as high as like 12 to 15. So getting him this late is a good pick for them. I think for the Browns at 26, this is my favorite fit this late, but Jalen Phillips, the edge from Miami, he'll be replacing Olivier Vernon, former Giant, and he's a 4-3 end. I think he's one of the better edges in this class, which is pretty weak for edges, honestly. And I think the Browns get a young guy to put on the end there opposite of Myles Garrett. That way you don't have to pay for something because you don't really. If Myles Garrett's on one side, you don't need to invest too heavily on the other. So get a cheap contract there like a rookie. The Baltimore Ravens, get them a receiver. I'm going Terrace Marshall Jr. from LSU. The Saints, cornerback, linebacker, wide receiver. Best player available is Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah. He's an excellent cover linebacker from my Notre Dame Fighting Irish. I think you add another speedy piece on that defense who can move around and cover, especially considering they might lose Marcus Williams as a safety. They could lose some pieces, so they're going to need somebody to fill some holes on that defense. Aaron Rodgers. Corner, receiver, tackle, and linebacker are listed as their top needs. Why is tackle a need? They have the best left tackle in football, arguably. Billy Turner wasn't bad. I'm gonna go Kadarius Toney. He's kind of a gadget wide receiver. He reminds me of like the Kansas City wide receivers. Quick burst, explosive, separates. Kadarius Toney. So now, I'm going to be honest, the end of the first round is where my knowledge is going a little dry, so sorry if my takes aren't as strong now. But for mock draft number 2, I'm going to be much more informed about this part of the draft. The Buffalo Bills are taking at number 30. Let's see, they need corner, they need linebacker. We're going to give them Zaven Collins from Tulsa. Zaven Collins can do a little bit of everything at the linebacker position. Could play middle, could pass rush a little. He's a little bit like Micah Parsons, just like a lower tier prospect. But Zaven Collins can kind of play weak side, strong side, middle, wherever you need him. I think he'll probably be a weak side. But yeah, Buffalo gets Zaven Collins. Kansas City, the name of the game is protection. I did not plan this, but Elijah Vera Tucker, who is listed as an interior O lineman, is the easy pick. He was kind of falling in mine. So I have the Chiefs protecting Patrick Mahomes with Elijah Vera Tucker. He can play anywhere besides center, I think. He's mainly a guard, but he could play right tackle. But I think the name of the game has to be protecting Patrick Mahomes after that Super Bowl. And you do that with a pick like Elijah Vera Tucker. And the final pick of the first round, the defending Super Bowl champion Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So Levante David is a free agent. Leonard Fournette's a free agent. Antonio Brown's a free agent. Shaquille Barrett's a free agent. Sue could be a free agent. Vea might be. JPP, I don't know what his status is. My point is they're going to lose a lot on defense. So I think they have to add a defender here. And I'm going to say they add Nick Bolton, the linebacker from Missouri. So that is my first mock draft. I will list my picks in the description section so you guys can recap afterwards so you don't have to scroll through the video to find my picks again. So if you want to see the picks listed out, they will be in the section below. Please like this video, comment what you think of my perception of your favorite team, and let me know what you think. Did I get it wrong? I kind of mentioned I don't firmly know all of these prospects yet. So if you know more about a prospect than I do, let me know. Drop a comment down below giving me the rundown on the players you know, because you guys can do nothing but help. So if you want to give your own mock down below, let me know. If you're somebody I know and you want to do a co-mock, I'm down to do whatever. So get active in the comments section. Like this video, share if you don't mind, and please subscribe as we are on our track, our journey, our course to 100 subscribers. Thank you guys for hanging out today. Goose out.